Right, still the AM show here on Joy News. Anyone? Time to get to the newspapers.
Newspapers, yes. Would you like me to start this morning?
I'd like you to start. I'd love for you to start.
Okay, well, the Ghanaian Times this morning. On the front page, we won't go back to the classroom. UTAG defies NLC order. Ghana Health Service is to deploy single-dose vaccines to COVID-19 hotspots. So we were told that yesterday by Dr. Chan. He spoke to us here on the AM show, also spoke on the Super Morning show. The question outstanding, though, is when will that process start? So hopefully we'll find that out soon. They're targeting the hotspots as it stands now. President Akufo-Addo pleads for endorsement of MMDCE nominees after broader consultation, and 2 grabbed in connection with death of policewoman at Nkoko. Okay, other stories. A man allegedly stabs wife to death following threat of divorce. Remember, I was talking about that yesterday or 2 days ago about how this domestic violence situation thing is coming up again after a few months of a bit of silence on that. International news, deadly fighting erupts between South Sudan party rival factions. A Nigeria Jewish leader arrested with Israelis freed, and Zambia's Lungu faces tight election contest as debt crisis bites. Okay, also climate report is code red for humanity. And we know that human activity is changing the climate in unprecedented ways, also irreversible ways. But there's a new major United Nations scientific report that has been released and is warning of increasingly extreme heat waves, droughts and flooding, and a key temperature limits being broken in just over a decade. They're saying it's code red for humanity. Scientists are saying, however, that a catastrophe can be avoided if the world acts fast. So we definitely need to up the conversations on climate change and what we can do here in Ghana so that we're not contributing to the negative effects of climate change. All right, a few more stories. 4 former MPP stalwarts have no status in the party. Kwashi Ofosu berates government over high debt levels. Resolved to protect public purse disappointing. That's according to lawyer Martin Bebu. The center spread of the Ghanaian Times this morning. We won't go back to the classroom. The University Teachers Association of Ghana has resolved to continue with their industrial strike action until all their demands are fulfilled by the government. Gosh, they started on August 2nd. And the demand is for the restoration of a 2012 single spine salary structure agreement that would have seen entry-level lecturers earn the city equivalent of $2,084 monthly. More details in the middle page of the Ghanaian Times. That story I was telling you about, Ghana Health Service to deploy single-dose vaccines to emerging COVID-19 hotspots. Also, there's one that caught my eye. It's about Occupy Ghana. Okay, so now Occupy Ghana is calling, it's on page 23 of the Ghanaian Times. Occupy Ghana calls on Minister of Health to resign over Sputnik V vaccines and procurement breaches. Now, we all know that pressure group Occupy Ghana, or they're calling on the Minister of Health, Kwekwa Agyeman-Menu, to resign for what has gone on with the Sputnik vaccines, the procurement breaches, and the payment of money as well. They issued a statement yesterday, and they have further urged Parliament to, as a matter of urgency, draft, consider and pass the required legislation that will give effect to Article 1815 of the Constitution, which applies to loan approval procedures involving parliamentary approval to international businesses and economic transactions. I think one good thing that could come out of all of this is if we can scrutinize the processes and make the needed and the necessary changes so this doesn't happen again. I don't know whether Mr. Agyeman-Menu will resign, but we live to see what that reaction will be. Other stories, NPP will break 8-year election string, Dr. Baumia assures. Let me just do a couple more stories. Anglo Gold records $363 million profit in 2020. Oh, that looks so good. $363 million. Gosh, if you had that money, what would you do with this? Definitely not work this morning.
I just won $1 million.
You just want a millionaire. Oh, Charlie. Last stories on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Roads in mining communities to receive facelift, and NGO educates Upper East Regional adolescents about productive health. And if you've been following the numbers, you would realize that the numbers in the Upper East region are going up in terms of teenage pregnancy over the past few years. So it's good that they're getting some education. There's also a lot of marriages, younger girls getting married in that region as well. That's it for the Ghanaian Times.
All right, so I'll bring you the Daily Graphic next. And on the front page, Techi makes Ghana proud. And it has Ghana's sole medalist at the just ended 2020 Olympic Games, Samuel Techi, on the front page. And, well, he became the only African athlete to mount the stage, along with the other athletes representing other continents during the closing ceremony of the Tokyo Olympic Games last Sunday. So, yes, Samuel Techi, we're very proud of you, and congratulations. We hope that at the next Olympics, which is happening in Paris, you'll bring us more medals.
2025? 2020? It's 4 years from now, isn't it? 2025, yeah.
Okay, and then appoint third. Okay, so the next Olympics is 2024. I guess the pandemic disrupted this one.
Yeah, because this is 2020, isn't it? Yeah.
So appoint third party to mediate UTAG NLC on pass, Austin Game. 3 suspected robbers die in shootout with the police. Would be having that featuring on the AM show. We'll bring you the full report. Of Maxwell Agwagwa went to the scene subsequently, and he spoke to eyewitnesses, and he has an account for us. So do stay tuned in, we'll bring you that. Auditor General presents 12 statutory reports to Parliament. And then let's just, okay, so the Techi Makes Ghana Proud story is on page 3, so you can grab a copy of the Daily Graphic to get that. Then I'll move to, okay, on the editorial, let's make COVID-19 vaccines available. That's on from the Daily Graphic editorial. Hustle shuttle between lectures, tale of 2 JIJ campuses. Okay, I'm moving to this story. Let's find, oh, there's an opinion also, Little Oswald's 5 management principles. That's an opinion piece. You may want to find out what the principles are in there. Yes, so this is a story I've been meaning to get to. COVID-19 should not stop breastfeeding. Dr. Kuma Abwaje, period. So breastfeed. Give them their breast milk. I mean, give them the breast.
The children, that is. Yeah. It's interesting because I was just wondering what the connection between COVID-19 and breastfeeding was, or why mothers will feel like they can't give their babies breast milk.
Now that you've spoiled the party, let me just go to the story. Okay, so Dr. Kuma Bwaji, he was speaking on Breastfeeding Week. He says there was also growing concern that producers of baby food had compounded those risks that if you're breastfeeding, if you have COVID-19, you shouldn't breastfeed.
Okay.
They've compounded those risks by invoking unfounded fears. Now, breastfeeding could transmit COVID-19 from mother to child, and marketed their products as safer options. However, he said those assertions were untrue because WHO had recommended that standard infant feeding guidelines should be adhered to during the COVID-19 pandemic. He said a woman with COVID-19 should be supported to breastfeed safely by holding her baby skin to skin, and also share a room with her baby because close contact and early exclusive breastfeeding helped babies to thrive. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So now you have the full story.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, but was it really necessary for you to spoil the party like that?
Wow.
Okay, appointed party to mediate UTAG and LC on pass. That's Austin Game saying that. And 3 suspected robbers died in shootout with police, which I've already brought to you. Now let me go to. All right, Auditor General presents 12 statutory reports to Parliament. It's the first time in 10 years. That's interesting, according to the Daily Graphic. So it's in there. All right, so I knew this was going to come. There's a story I read yesterday about one Fred Avonyo arrested I actually didn't review that
Okay.
because I wasn't sure. I mean, then there's a sort of a disclaimer,
Okay.
and I'm going to read that in full. It says, a media consultant, Mr. Fred Avonyo, has not been arrested as an accomplice in any job scam. Mr. Avonyo, who has since 1995 worked as a broadcast journalist, has never been an accomplice of any person involved in a job scam. It has to do with the Ministry of Employment story that we shared yesterday.
The one that they were collecting 1,005.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And Fred Avonyo, well, the journalist Fred Avonyo is a colleague.
Okay.
So when I saw it, I was like, okay, it's probably another Fred Avonyo.
Okay.
But he's found it necessary to speak to the Daily Graphic to get them to put it out that, Let me read that. I have worked within the media space with the name Fred Avonyo, and many people will reasonably assume that I am the said Fred Avonyo. Indeed, one such person drew my attention to this publication. I want to state unequivocally that I was never an accomplice of any person involved in a job scam and has never been arrested by national security in relation to any job scam and any other offense. On the contrary, I broke the story on this job scam as a broadcast journalist working with Joy FM, confirmed with the Daily Graphic. Okay, so yeah, Fred Avonyo is in the guy who... I know Fred Avonyo person. He worked here at Multimedia. President inaugurates court complex for Kintampo, administration block for Prang, and committee to regulate soybean exports sworn in. That's in the center spread. And talking about the center spread, now I'm going to bring this issue up because my uncle, who is a librarian, he has worked with the UN for a long time. He called me the other day, and his issue is that the center spread, you see the way they put a story right there in the middle. He says, no, it's not done. Because if you bind, you know sometimes they bind these in the libraries. He says if you bind the newspaper, you lose the middle. You can't read the middle.
You can't read
so
them.
He says,
it needs to be
exactly.
So that there's space.
Yes, and leave that space in between.
In the middle.
It's been a major issue for him. So now, Daily Graphic, please. Now that the issue has come up, that's from my uncle. He's called Samuel Odote. Yeah.
Uncle Sammy, please, good morning. We are greeting
He's a big man.
All right.
Okay,
it makes a lot of sense, honestly.
Yeah, so sort it out for him, Daily Graphic. Okay. Occupy Ghana demands health minister's resignation. And, okay, I think I've let me just go to the back page. Businesswoman donates medical equipment to a senior hospital, and FDA assures of vaccine integrity. That'll be for the Daily Graphic.
You know what's interesting, Israel?
Yeah.
Okay, almost all of the newspapers do that.
Yeah.
Just kind of treat the center spread as one big.
Yeah. Yes, the problem with
yeah, the Ghanaian Times is doing that as well. So is the Chronicle and the Daily Statesman. Anyways, let's go to the Chronicle this morning. And that story about Occupy Ghana wanting the health minister sacked also on the front page. Family accuses police of unlawful seizure of lands. Police killed 3 suspected robbers at Shiashi. Like Israel said, we'll bring you Maxwell Abab's report. No way. You cannot leave Ghana. Court halts deportation of Chinese illegal miners over 16 million cedi. Civil suits. And the scripture on the front page of the Chronicle this morning, 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and discipline. Okay, other stories in the Ghanaian Chronicle. Arrest and fine anyone who breaches COVID-19 protocols. So the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Korte, has ordered all metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to arrest, fine and prosecute individuals or groups of persons who breach the COVID-19 protocols to serve as a deterrent to others. So the MMDAs should also ensure that individuals or group of persons who breach this protocol are fined, are prosecuted according to the law. So it should be interesting. They're going to have random spot checks on a lot of things. So wearing of masks, funerals, all the things that fall under the public bans. The minister said this yesterday, and he says there should be mandatory adherence to all COVID-19 protocols. So interesting stuff there. Transport Minister chairs Western Central African Maritime Organization. That story about the Chinese who are trying to leave the country. No way, you can't leave Ghana. Other stories, a husband's tribute to a virtuous wife. And this is interesting. It's by Godfred K. Ahenkumi. He's an advocate against cheating and of peaceful coexistence. And he talks about his wife and everything that she has been to him. Interesting one there. Advocate against cheating and for peaceful coexistence. Okay, a couple of international stories, well, Nigerian stories. Buhari expresses sympathy with Turkey over wildfire. Lagos-Kano train service resumes soon. Returns to the negotiating table. Health Minister appeals to striking doctors. And now in Nigeria, the doctors are on strike, which is unfortunate, especially in these times. They also started their strike, like UTAG, on August 2nd, over irregularities and owing salaries to housing officers. Government postpones COVID-19 vaccination due to unforeseen circumstances. That's what's happening in Nigeria. Okay, a little bit of showbiz this morning. On page 10 of the Ghanaian Chronicle, gospel musician Nava wins Artist of the Year at the Western Music Awards. My ex-husband is threatening my life. That's Princess Shingle. And Jackie releases her new single, Need Me. Jackie is the one who sang My Mind Day for you. If you love that song, take a listen to this. You might love it too. International stories. Sudan recalls ambassador to Ethiopia amid frayed ties. Thai man charged over death of Swiss tourist. French police question man after he admitted killing priest. 8-year-old becomes the youngest person charged with blasphemy after intentionally urinating in a mosque. So an 8-year-old Hindu boy is being held in protective police custody in East Pakistan after becoming the youngest person ever to be charged with blasphemy in the country. Now, he went to pee, decided to pee in a mosque. He's accused of intentionally urinating on a carpet in the library where religious books were kept this month. Now, the interesting thing about this story is that blasphemy charges can carry the death penalty. So it's actually very, very, very serious. Unfortunately, and the truth is, this 8-year-old boy is not even aware that such blasphemy issues exist and has been falsely indulged in these matters. He still doesn't understand what his crime is and why he will be kept in jail for a week. He's only 8 years old after all. Okay, other stories. Residents of Nkwanta so cry over abandoned E-block project. There's a story of the health benefits of cola nut. If you're interested in cola nuts. PSG to sell 10 players for the expected arrival of Messi. Wow. Okay. Paris Saint-Germain will reportedly let 10 players go in the efforts to finance the blockbuster signing of Lionel Messi. Oh my God.
This one is not breaking the bank, it's breaking the club.
It's breaking 10 players. Wow. But that's what talent does though, isn't it? I mean, so far he's been worth every pound, every dollar that has been paid for him. Lukaku completes £98 million return to Chelsea. Barcelona's Aguero to miss 10 weeks with calf injury. So lots of sports stories. This is one I really don't want to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Hearts coach calls for more support ahead of Champions League campaign. What support again? Yeah, what support again? We are even tired. Anyway, Kotoko in advanced talks with coach Dr. Prosper now, and Partey to miss Arsenal games against Chelsea and Man City. Israel, let's move on from
No. We can't just move on. I mean, you needed clarity to the issue. So, Hearts coach is calling for support ahead of Champions League. I mean, they're going. Hearts is going onto the continent to play, and it would involve, they're traveling and all of that. I mean, support has been given to clubs in the past, and we are still in the pandemic. So government can come in and say, okay, I'll support you some way, somehow.
Okay.
That's all they're asking for. Okay?
Okay.
And if you feel if you feel like supporting Accra Hearts of Folk as well, we'll start a fundraiser for Accra Hearts of Folk right here on the AM show.
Wow.
You cool with that?
I think you should expect an invoice from your boss for starting a fundraiser.
I haven't started. I said I will start.
You will start.
In fact, we will start.
You and
the two of us. Okay, let's go to the Daily Guide now. And on the front page, NDC lied about $4.5 million bribe. Alote spills beans, confesses to Pope. There's a confessing to Pope bits that got me interested. So I said, okay, let me go and find out
which Pope?
Exactly where, which Pope. So he essentially says, he said this on Peace FM, that they pushed the fake $5 million bribe story to gain political advantage. He said, we were only yearning to come to power, so we're just blackmailing. And even said he has since confessed to the Pope and asked God for forgiveness.
Which Pope?
And he goes, I went for confession in Rome.
Oh.
And informed the Pope that this is what I have done.
The Pope.
So he will pardon me and seek long life for me. That is why I'm here today, he added. So, I mean, those who go for confession, those who visit the Vatican, do you confess to the Pope when you go?
I don't know. I haven't gone to confess to. Okay. I've been to the Vatican, but I didn't go and confess to the Pope. I would be amazed if the Pope is actually sitting in a little, those little room boxes thingies and hearing for, confessions. One would think you'd have a lot more to do, and that might be designated.
Well, yeah. So Alote Jacobs, he used to be with the NDC. The NDC says they fired him. So that's the story about. Okay, prank chief claps for Nana Starch Factory.
What a story.
What a story, exactly. I mean, so I'm imagining that the prank chief is saying, Nana, why?
Yeah.
And then following right there, after that one, is also another story. Nana, MPP is champion for social interventions, says John Boyd. And the way the champion...
And then wait. And then right at the side of it, Akufo-Addo not happy with MPP.
Yeah.
Does that even work?
Yeah. Okay, so the Akufo-Addo not being happy with the MPP, apparently the president was in the Bono East region. And he says, they lost some seats. They had more seats. Well, they had about 5 seats. They lost. And they lost, they now have 3. Okay. So that's why he's not happy with that.
Okay. It's just funny how the headlines, kind of go, but yeah.
Okay, so let's check out the other stories in the Daily Guide. So, loose talk pastor disowned. Oh,
by whom?
The pastor who was at the Fix the Country demonstration, who said the tithes are not coming in. Yeah. So the church he belongs to, the Evangelical Methodist Church International, has dissociated itself from comments made by its head pastor for Asylum Down branch in Accra, the Fix the Country protest.
Okay, so they've dissociated from the statements he made.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, he was saying that the tithes are not coming in because the country is tough.
Unfixed. Yeah.
So they should fix the country. All right, and then visa-free for Ghanaians traveling to UAE. That's been a story that's been trending for a while now. So you can go to the UAE and you wouldn't need a visa. Then Ohima Messi, Sapon divided over gospel and secular artists collaboration.
That's always been quite a topical issue, the collabos between gospel and secular artists, and whether that's a good thing.
Okay, and let me just go to the back page. Olympics torch hits down today. City splash £150 million for Hurricane. And all set for Kantanka Cup.
How many players do they have to lose to get Hurricane?
I have to get into that. But, well,
City,
they have a lot of money.
They have a lot of money.
So yeah, they can splash that.
Okay, so we're gonna splash that cash. We're gonna go to our online stories in a second. We'll start with My Joy Online. I'm just going to quickly run through the front page of the Daily Statesman whilst we wait for that. Chiefs Lord Akufo-Addo for massive infrastructural developments. Police killed 3 armed robbers. Foil attempt to rob a businessman. Baumia urges NPP members to avoid pettiness. And 1D1F factory is a dream come true for me. That's according to the prank chief.
Okay, so let me bring you the finder as well. 59.1 million CDs, ECG meters, conductors, abandoned since 2014, while management procures new ones. ECG says the meters have technical challenges. Well, that's a problem. I mean, 59.1 million CDs.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. That's a lot. Akufo-Addo's achievements in Nkranza, unprecedented Nkranza chief, and citizenry welfare is paramount to government. That's President Akufo-Addo. Okay, but the story on the ECG meters, it's on page 2 of the Finder. It's the Auditor General's report.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Sure.
you can get the details there.
Okay, can I move to online?
Yes, we can.
Now, okay, so the first story is Sputnik vaccine procurement. Every arm of government failed in this exercise. That's according to Kofi Bentil. Hashtag Ajiman must go. That hashtag trended yesterday, the whole day, on Twitter. Hashtag Ajiman must go. Ghanaians on social media call for dismissal of the health minister. Senior Staff Association, University of Ghana calls of strike. Oh, really? That's interesting.
So the Senior Staff Association has called out the strike, but UTAG strike is...
Okay, all right. Thank you for that clarification. Joy FM Super Morning Show discusses bylaw to ban aboboya on Accra's highways. We will be discussing that as well. I'll go to the streets and have a conversation about that. Lotto agent and hotel manager are helping police to solve the police officer's murder. Police gunned down 3 armed robbers at Opebia. Accra RegSec orders arrest and prosecution for breaches of COVID-19 protocols and COVID-19. Ooh, not good. Ghana records 30 deaths in 7 days. That's not good. And of course, our figures are still going up. We have 874 deaths in total, a cumulative 108,226 cases, and 100,383 recovered. That's about it for My Joy Online and for our online and news.
But the My Joy Online story, the top story in the Sheikh agreeing to refund the money to Ghana. It's
$2.4 million.
Yeah, 2.4, $7 million. That's interesting.
That's,
If you go into the story, it says that the Sheikh has actually indicated that they're going to
refund.
And
which does not, Israel, in any way absolve the problems and the lack of due diligence and the lack of all the things that happened for that to happen.
Absolutely. So I read you a bit of the story. It says the private officer of His Highness, the correspondence, has honorably agreed to refund an amount of $2,470,000, being the balance left on the 50% advance payment of $2,850,000 United States dollars, portions of the Health Ministry's letter to the Finance Minister read. So, we have that. We're hoping that indeed, it's not so much about agreeing to refund, it's about the money coming in. And after the money coming in, there should be consequences, whichever way.
Indeed. I absolutely agree with you. Well, thank you for staying tuned to the news review. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you some sports, and then, of course, we'll dive into our conversations for today. Remember, we're talking on AM Talk. We're talking about the health minister. We're talking Sputnik V. We're also talking about GNPC. We're talking about COVID-19 sanctions and protocols. And also, we'll be going to Fadama, Old Fadama, and for our Drive Safe campaign as we talk about the bylaw to get the aboboyas of some of our streets. My name is Enima Animado. I'm doing this with a very handsome Israelite who makes me struggle to focus, but we're pressing on. Don't go anywhere. This is the AM show.
Yourself. When I posted that photo.